Hi, good morning. This is Carlo Morabito, Vice President for Public Relations of International Neural Network Society. Our guest today is Professor Dr. Nicola Fabiano, which is an Italian lawyer, adjunct professor at Ostrava University in Rome, former president of the San Marino Data Protection Authority, a national expert for the Republic of San Marino on the committees of the Council of Europe Convention number 108 and of the ADA Committee on Artificial Intelligence. He has been the government of the Republic of San Marino's advisor for drafting legislation and on personal data protection. Nicola Fabiano created the data protection and privacy relationship model based on high mathematics and set theory. Is author of many articles, essays, books, and papers. Good morning, Nicola. Thank you for
Good morning, Carlo.
for accepting our interview. As you know, International Neural Network Society based essentially in methodologies and algorithms and analytics and so on. Our members mainly work on the field of artificial intelligence from the perspective of methodologies. We think that it is most important now to include among the competencies of our members also different aspects and perspectives like the one you will discuss this morning. In particular, artificial intelligence has many gives many problems regarding ethical aspects, data protection, and so on. So, I would like to ask your opinion regarding the opportunity of including a sector of our society on non-algorithmic aspects.
Yes, first of all, thank you very much, Carlo. Thank you very much, INNS, to involve me today in this interview. Regarding your question, I think that times changed and times are still changing. So from my perspective, my approach is a multidisciplinary approach, and I think that we should take into account not only technical aspects like algorithms and other scientific aspects, but I think that we should also consider other domains like legal domain. So I think ethical domain, psychological domain, and so on. In this way, we can have a very huge vision about the topic of artificial intelligence, which is a name, a broad name that includes several domains. This is my view.
Okay, thank you. Actually, we are working on that, as you know. What subjective roles should we consider discussing data protection in Europe, particularly considering the future of artificial intelligence?
Well, thank you very much for this question. In Europe, the regulation and the protection of natural persons with regard to the processing of personal data is the well-known GDPR, which is the EU regulation 2016-679. One of the leading aspects is related to the subjective scope And I would like to clarify it. To simplify, I only mentioned 5 rules. First, the data subject. Second, the controller. Third, the processor. Fourth, the authorized person. And 5, the data protection officer. So the first one, the data subject is a natural person whose personal data is processed by a data controller or processor. The second one, the controller, is the natural or legal person, public authority, agency, or other body which alone or jointly with others determines the purposes and means of the processing of personal data. Third, the processor is a natural or legal person, public authority, agency, or other body which processes personal data on behalf of the controller. The authorized person, the fourth I mentioned, is one who processes personal data on behalf of the controller or the processor. We say that usually an authorized person is a worker or an employee. Last but not least, the data protection officer is the one who has some tasks and supports the controller or the processor. Appointment of the DPO is mandatory in the cases indicated by the GDPR, but the advice is to appoint it anyway, especially when the organization is complex. That brief description helps avoid some misunderstandings on the rules and clear the words used by the European legislator in describing those profiles.
Thank you. And apart from Europe, we are all waiting for the final version of the AI Act, the European legislation of artificial intelligence. But we know there was a significant trend on AI in the USA, with several protests, especially in the artistic field. However, recently President Biden issued an executive order on the safe, secure and trustworthy development and use of artificial intelligence. What is your opinion on this?
Yes, the question is crucial, and I try to answer starting by describing this scenario. From a legal perspective, the global AI situation shows that some countries like China, Canada, Israel, Australia, Singapore, and Japan are involved in developing AI solutions. Apart from them, from my point of view, the regulation of AI should be addressed by bearing in mind that currently we can identify the main 2 blocks: European regulation, so Europe from a side, and on the other side, USA, where the situation, mainly the recent executive order on you mentioned, is where there isn't an AI regulation yet. So, moving to Europe, according to EU digital strategy, European legislators have passed several legislations, some of which are still in the proposal phase. Among them is the AI Act. Moreover, European legislators have passed several legislations, some still in the proposal phase. Namely, I refer to the Data Governance Act, Digital Markets Act, Digital Services Act, Digital Operational Resilience Act, and Resilience of Critical Entities. However, among the legislation still in the stage of proposal, I mentioned the AI Act, of which now there are 3 different text versions: one of the EU Commission, one of the Council, and one of the EU Parliament. The so-called trilogue, the negotiation, started, and we are waiting for the final text, but the discussion inside the negotiations is very hard. We hope to have a final text by the end of this year, 2023, but I wonder whether it will be so. The AI Act is risk-based to the point that it lays down 4 levels of risk from artificial intelligence. The rules establish obligations for providers and users depending on the level of the risk from artificial intelligence, including AI systems that pose minimal risk, which need to be assessed anyway. The AI Act aims to guarantee the correct functioning of the European single market, substituting on the conditions for developing and using trustworthy AI systems in the European Union. What's happened in the USA? The situation in the USA is different. In the USA, people are currently discussing the negative impact of AI. For example, the Hollywood artists' strike, class actions on copyright infringements, etc. Those deals are only related to the relationship with copyright and privacy presumed violations, but there isn't an AI-specific regulation like in Europe. Other countries, I mentioned India, China, etc., are also working to realize AI regulation in the rest of the world. Addressing a correct discussion implies that we should consider the EU AI Act as the unique starting point, because any other issue is always related to juridically different aspects, as I said, copyright, privacy, etc., to specific topics on AI regulation. There isn't federal legislation on AI or data protection in the USA. Lately, there has been a significant trend on AI in the USA with several protests, especially, as I mentioned, in the artistic field. On October 30, 2023, President Biden issued the executive order you mentioned on safe, secure, and trustworthy development and use of artificial intelligence, which has the force of law. That executive order is organized into 13 sections, purpose, policy and principles, definitions, ensuring the safety and security of AI technology, promoting innovation and competition, and so on. The executive order directs the most sweeping actions ever taken to protect Americans from the potential risks of AI systems. I mentioned the most relevant points. Among all, required that developers of the most powerful AI systems share their safety tests and result and other critical information with the US government, develop standards, tools and tests to help ensure that the AI systems are safe, secure and trustworthy, protect against the risks of using AI to engineer dangerous biological materials by developing strong new standards for biological synthesis screening, and strengthen privacy-preserving research and technologies such as cryptographic tools that preserve individuals' privacy by founding a research coordination network to advance rapid breakthroughs and development. In conclusion, the aforementioned executive order is welcome in the USA. Hopefully, the USA reach structured federal legislation on AI soon.
Thank you, Nicola. Actually, also in the field, in the area of methodology and algorithms, there are novelties regarding the possibility of protecting data. For example, in the field of federated learning, which allows us to not to separate the data of different, for example, hospitals without merging them. So this is an important point for future activities. We are now witnessing a general rise in security measures, in particular for apps, websites, services, and so on. We know that security is one of the aspects related to privacy and also data protection. What is the relationship between security and data protection or privacy?
Yes, let me know a short comment on the federated learning which you mentioned, because it's one well-known solution also in the legal field, which is included in the what we call privacy enhancing technologies. So some particular techniques to strengthen privacy. Well, coming to your question, yes, it's true. We are assisting with growing services and apps whose first developers or providers' purpose is to increase security measures and solutions. Indeed, we see technical solutions and apps with strong end-to-end encryption and so-called zero-knowledge proof. That might appear good news, but one should consider some particular aspects. Indeed, increasing security measures is justified as the only solution to protect privacy. However, security is different from privacy. They are two different concepts. It's wrong to consider increasing security measures as the solution to comply with privacy laws. Notably, in Europe, the regulation on data protection is the GDPR that states technical and organizational measures. It refers, even although not explicitly, to some technical standards like ISO 27001 and information security management systems. Thus, the aforementioned equation is not correct because it's not possible to equalize security and privacy by considering that security includes privacy or it can solve privacy issues. One is security and the other one is privacy. It's true instead to affirm the contrary. Privacy includes security but is not the opposite. Apart from legal analysis, it's relevant to observe how people try to address privacy matters by adopting more and more security solutions. Actually, that phenomenon demonstrates, on the other hand, how trust in privacy instruments or solutions is becoming dim. However, on the other hand, people continue to feel that privacy is a crucial point. I want to explain what I'm saying, underlying that people continue believing and trusting in privacy, but they probably expect more concrete instruments or solutions to defend or guarantee it. Therefore, people are looking for concrete instruments to preserve their privacy and thinking of finding solutions by using security. While the instruments to protect privacy, at least in Europe, there are, and they are in the GDPR. The topic is complex and also concerns other domains which should be deepened. Maybe if it interests you, another time we can discuss it.
Thank you, Nicola. Now, one question related to one aspect which is most debated and also presented, for example, in movies and so on. In particular, talking about AI implies even considering some legal aspects. Mainly, what about the AI's liability? For example, is there an artificial intelligence systems, a vehicle or a robots liability for any potential damages? Can we consider, in other words, responsible an artificial intelligence system?
That is another crucial point. Artificial intelligence contributes to developing new, more and more innovative solutions. We have to face robots and algorithms developed in robotics. Coming back to the AI Act, which I recall to be risk-based, that proposal defines the artificial intelligence system, most probably by adopting the latest definition carried out recently by the OECD. Thus, one of the main concerns is related to the liability. Who is responsible for any actions executed by a robot or an artificial intelligence system? On that basis, the European legislator prepared two proposals on artificial intelligence liability. The topic is discussed because, juridically speaking, it couldn't be admissible to recognize a responsibility by a machine. Indeed, we know the responsibility of a human being, but not of a machine that acts as it has been designed and programmed always by human beings. There may be machines designed and programmed by other machines. Here the matter becomes more complex, considering that in Europe there are those two proposals that have to complete the legislative process. We can only wait for them, hoping that criticalities will be opportunely addressed and deepened before becoming final official legislation. Sorry.
Thank you, Nicola. We are closing our interview. I would like to say that I'm happy that you are now a member of International Neural Network Society, and that in our society we now represent possibly all of the aspects of artificial intelligence. As you know, International Neural Network Society was the primary organization in neural networks, which now implements the AI systems with machine learning and deep learning systems. But now we all are considering that many other aspects should be analyzed and included in our analysis if we wish to lead the AI community as INNS. So thanks a lot, Nicola, for your availability to this interview.
Thank you very much, Carlo. I am proud to be an NNS member. And just to conclude, unfortunately, we are in the hands of politicians and who almost always listen very little to professionals in their fields. It would be good if one of the priorities is to listen to the voices of privacy professionals or scientists in the AI domains. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.